How's it going, everyone? Welcome to The Magnet First Night. This is a free visual novel available over on itch.io if you want to try yourself. I'll have the link in the description below. And it already looks really cool. I like the layering effect, kind of parallax layering, but not quite. Let's see what the options are quickly, just to get an idea. I'm assuming there's no like visual novels. Okay, music and sound effects, that's all. That's good. It seems like the menu could be a little quicker, but that's fine. So yeah, this is a visual novel, and click anywhere on the screen to advance the story. Click the icon in the upper right to skip to the next menu. First Night. And it looks kind of cool. It's a very black, white, and then bright contrasting colors, which I do like that design a lot. Reminds me a lot of Hot Miami almost, just from a quick glance of it. Like that mask. The sweat on her brow is making the mask stick uncomfortably to Teddy's face. The mud at her foot swallows her feet, so that each step is a chore, and accompanied by a sucking sound. The empty windows from the towering buildings on either side stare down like giants, waiting for their next meal. And dawn is approaching fast. Way too fast. Teddy knows that she'll have to find shelter soon, but every building for miles has been some kind of factory or warehouse. Well, fuck. That's a great, So, I mean, if everything's in a factory, I would assume just keep walking? Teddy picks up the pace. She refuses to give up. Teddy beats herself up for not leaving the city through a suburb. They'd be harder to get around in, but the abandoned houses always have beds. The only downside to the suburb is that she might run into the previous owner of the house, decomposing in the corner somewhere. Still, a bed is a bed. Teddy looks at the crumbling brick faces around her. This day will not be comfortable. There is no bed for her here. God damn it. Oh, we got the sassy stance right there. Fierce. This is not good. Not good at all. She knows that the horrors will be out soon, and once they are awake, she has to be out of sight. Life has been hell since the horrors showed up. No one knows where they came from. They just turned up one morning and started murdering indiscriminately. That was several years ago. Since then, the world has gone to absolute shit. There's no safety anymore. No parents, no home. The only thing that Teddy can do is keep moving in the dark, keep walking, if she wants to stay alive. And Teddy intends to stay alive. She's safer now, in the dark. The horrors are completely blind to the blackness. She's seen enough of them to know their weakness. Probably their only one. She looks up. The sky is getting a rosy tint off the distance that worries her, so even though there are none of them around, she picks up the pace. Maybe she'll be able to move a bit by daylight, she thinks. Maybe this time won't be that bad. Teddy pushes against the thought. She knows better than most, that there is no way around them. That if you are spotted, they attack, and they do so ruthlessly. It is always bad. Teddy starts to run, making too much sound as she does so. They may not be able to see in the dark, but they can certainly hear, and it is no longer all that dark. Her mind is spinning. She has to find somewhere in soon. The approaching dawn scares her. She's almost sure that she'll have to sleep out in the open, something she hasn't done in ever when she spots it. She turns the corner and stops dead in her tracks. She can see an open door leading into welcoming darkness within a little way off from where she's standing. Oh, thank God. I like the contrast, breaking the whole story. I like the contrast of drawn manga style and then actual photos that have like this filter applied that makes it kind of look oil painty like. It's like just enough that it's unsettling, but enough that it's still realistic enough. Teddy runs double speed over to the door and ducks inside, just as the first rays of daylight kiss the face of the building. Her head is reeling as she makes her way inside. The panic has her breathing heavily and her muscles aching. She tries to steady herself to take in her new surroundings. Teddy didn't have a lot of time to survey the building from the outside, but now that she's inside, she realizes just how much of a dump this place is. There's trash strewn everywhere, and dark mold has started moving up the walls. It seems to Teddy that this place might even have been abandoned before the world went to hell. But the worst offender is the stench, which is mercifully absent outside. It is nothing short of overpowering, combining something close to rotten eggs and yeast together into a mix that makes her eyes water. At this, I can't sleep here. Teddy looks outside where the light is really starting to stream in, illuminating the world in the cold light of early morning. She shakes her head. No, this'll have to do. Teddy looks around the room, trying to get her bearings. She's in a small room, like an entrance or hallway. This place has seen better days, with most of it scattered in various types of garbage. The only light is coming from the double doors she came in from. The windows in either door has long since been broken. There's glass in the concrete floor. Teddy shakes her head. This place is a dump, but it is just for one night. I should look around and get to know my home for the day. Oh, Oh, cool. It's oh, that's kind of cool art there. I didn't expect this, like point and click style now. Teddy surveys the rubble of this place. It seems so random. But while looking around, she suddenly focuses on something. It is a chair standing alone against the wall. Teddy looks at the chair, at first thinking nothing of it. Or at least a dozen or so of them stacked in here. But as she approaches the chair, she gets an uneasy feeling, like she has seen it before. Get yourself together. It's a chair. It takes her a moment to realize why this chair is making her so uncomfortable. What it is about this chair that is making her uneasy. That's... Teddy looks at it again, yeah. It is just like the one she used to have at home, before the horrors came. Before the world went to shit. Teddy stands, for a while transfixed, as if she is waiting for the chair to jump up and attack her. But the chair is not the enemy, the memories are. She can't help the flashes from flooding her mind's eye. Her family is sitting down for dinner, her mom placing the chairs on the table to clean, a birthday party, an errand fight around the table. I think it's supposed to be errand, not errand. The flashes come fast and hard, and Teddy can do nothing but stand there, staring at a stupid fucking chair. She spent so much time trying to forget, trying to stave back the memories of what used to be. That is how you survive. It's the only way that you survive. Teddy can feel her chest tighten. She is at war with herself. Will she allow the memories to win? No! The hiss comes low and intense from deep within her. It is enough. She's broken out of her spiral. Now is not the time, Teddy tells herself. She turns around, facing the rest of the room. There's the rest of the room to check. Ah, yes, more stuff. Oh, okay, I can actually click and move around. Ooh, a barrel. Nice. There's moss growing on the side of the oil drum, which seems to be empty. Some of the edges of the moss have started to go brown. Teddy passively wonders that could be a sign that the season is changing, but she doesn't know. Teddy has long ago lost track of how long she's been on the run. She used to try and keep count of the months so that she could know when her birthday was. When she realized that no one would be there to celebrate, she stopped caring. The only thing she keeps track of now is what season it is and what types of food she can get from nature. I guess it's the only bit of nature I'm going to find here. Teddy gestures at the moss, even though there is no one there to whom she's talking. Even so, Teddy giggles and turns away. There are other things in here that need to be investigated. Okay, so there looks like there was an apocalyptic event that occurred, and oh, I like the art on the wall. It's pretty cool. Oh, Baron Samedi. Nice. Teddy walks over to a shopping cart that has been haphazardly stashed in the corner of the room. Yet another thing that seems like it should belong in a place like this. Alright, what do we have here? Nothing answers hers with dead silence. Not that she had expected any different. Her own voice has become the only companion that she is anymore. The only sound she ever hears. She talks to herself of a habit more than anything else. As a way of breaking the constant silence that hangs over everything. They took everything when they arrived. Friends, family, home, everything. But after a while, when you've been on the run, you start to notice the little things they took. The things you didn't notice while grieving. The horror took the sound, leaving the world cold and silent. There's no music, no laughter, just you talking to yourself. I wonder how that feels. Teddy shakes her head and focuses back on the shopping cart. She finds discarded wrappers from candy bars, a blanket that has grown in nasty mold, and paint canisters filled with dried paint. She looks at the wrappers longingly. She used to love candy. Anything sweet, really. She would beg her parents for any time they... No. Teddy shakes her head. There's nothing for her down that train of thought. Stay in the moment. Muttering to herself brings a moment of respite. A moment of truth. She turns away from the shopping cart. Disgusted with herself. She needs to move on. There must be other things in this room. Alright, so there's two doors here. Do we take the door where we can kind of see what's behind it? That's actually kind of cool. That's actually probably not a great thing. Probably not supposed to be able to do that. But so far, it looks like there's nothing in here, so... Can I open the door? Oh. She doesn't know what's beyond this point, and not knowing scares her. Is she safe? Has she checked everything? Does she know where she is? She feels her belly rumble, as if a beast is settled in there. Teddy closes her eyes, takes a deep breath, and runs through the checklist in her head. It helps to keep organized, she tells herself. Come on, Teddy, you know this place. What was behind the other door? So a sauna, a mess beyond belief, the source of the smell, or nothing it led outside. We can see it's a mess. Oh yeah, there's a total shit show in there. Now that she thinks about it, she realizes that this was not where the smell was coming from. Still, it was messy as all hell. Enough of that. Teddy squares her shoulders, trying to tame the beast that is taking longing in her stomach. Whatever's beyond those doors can't be that bad, she tells herself, but it doesn't help. She hesitates. Is there something she's forgetting? What was it about that chair? It reminded her of home. Teddy quickly recoils at the thought of home. Best not to think about it. Best to focus on the door in front of her. Okay, just one more. She knows that she is stalling, but the list is calming her down, like the beast in her belly is slowly being lulled to sleep. What was in the shopping cart? Candy wrappers. Candy wrappers and crap. Good enough. Teddy's mouth waters at the thought of the candy that she missed out on. Even if those wrappers were several years older than her, Teddy smiles to herself. That was the list. That was everything. She feels certain that she knows everything that is in this room and none of it poses any danger to her. Taking a deep breath, she opens the door and walks into the next room. Oh, I missed one again, sorry. The stench is foul, so bad that Teddy almost turns around and walks straight out the door. However, she knows better than that. Something could be lurking in here, and it's better to know. Still, she wishes she didn't have to go further into this place where the very air seems to be assaulting her. There's no light in this room whatsoever, so Teddy has to feel her way around, until her eyes adjust to the darkness. Teddy takes another step into the darkness, willing herself not to freak out. It takes a while for her to get used to the darkness, thanks to no small part to the fact that her eyes keep watering due to the smell. When she finally does, she's confused. She's standing in a rather large, elongated room with red steel pillars every few feet. The room is filled with all kinds of crap, ranging from old fridges sporting logos of soft drinks to discarded furniture that has seen better days. All together, this place gives off the air of having been long abandoned. Well, isn't this nice? Her words echo through the hall and bounce back to her as though ghosts are mirroring her sentiment. Hi, creepy noise. You mind not doing that? I'm trying to read. Through the horrendous smell and the crap littered all over the place, Teddy has a hard time keeping her spirits up. Guess I better check this out as well. Teddy takes another step into the room without enthusiasm or much hope. Boop. Alright. So I guess we're actually supposed to check out, I think the question it actually asked was about this door here. So I think we're supposed to check out all this stuff first, and then do that. The sight of the cabinet immediately makes Teddy excited. For a second, she's convinced that this is the kind of places that people keep their food. Oh, come on! There's a Nintendo Switch there. An iMac. What looks like it might be an Android tablet. There's the Mac keyboard. I don't know what that's supposed to be. It looks like it might be like another tablet. The exclamation was a bit louder than Teddy was initially expecting to be, and she looks around nervously. No one is there. Still, she chastises herself for getting her hopes up. Why would there be anything useful in this damn closet? The only things in here are some stupid electronics. Teddy surveys the assorted wires and things in the closet. The ironic thing is that some of the things in here are things that she would have once been very excited about finding. Teddy recognized the gaming console in there and thinks back on a time when it would have meant a lot to her. A tool to alleviate boredom. Hee hee hee. The laugh is hollow and humorous, but it feels good to let it out. The truth is, Teddy doesn't remember what it's like to be bored. The thing about fighting to stay alive is you really don't have time to be bored. Every moment is tense. Every moment is a struggle. Even when the things are relatively quiet, there's always a worry. Teddy worries about her next meal. She worries about whether the horrors will ever catch her, and she worries for the simple pleasure of worrying. Nah, none of those things would bring her any joy anymore. God, does she miss boredom. She misses it so much. Alright, there's also these clothes. Teddy stops dead in her tracks as she spots laundry hanging. Her heart sinks as if someone is here, this could complicate things. Teddy stands completely still for a moment, listening to the silence that hangs in the room. Hello? No answer. Teddy stands still for a moment, acutely aware of how vulnerable she is in this moment. Is anyone there? Once again, the darkness answers with nothing but silence. Teddy stands up for another moment, every part of her clenched up tight. Eventually, she lets her guard down. If someone was here, she would have heard. She walks over to the clothing, inspecting it. Part of her incredulous as to why anyone would have clothes here. Clearly, the smell would ruin them. She hurls the shirt up to her nose. It is bone dry and absolutely reeking. This must have been here for a while. Teddy steps back. She needs to check out the rest of the room, and this was not an encouraging start. What is this noise I'm hearing all of a sudden in this? Is that like a god? It's not for delivery, but it's because it's got the stirrup thingies, but it's definitely like a doctor's inspection thingy. Is it a bed? Nah, not quite. For one thing, it has wheels. For another, the madras, which is overgrown with mold, is at an odd angle. It's, the words on the tip of her tongue, frustratingly close. I know, I have the same thing in mind right now. It's a gurney. Thank you. Oh my god, game. That was annoying the hell out of me. It's a gurney. The clouds surrounding her thought process lift, and she finds the word. However, with the word comes a lot of questions. Like, why is there a gurney? Why would a gurney be doing here? The rest of everything makes some sort of odd sense, but this... Teddy stares at it for a second more, trying to wrap her head around it. These are supposed to be in hospitals, right? The silence that follows that question doesn't give anything away. Teddy turns away from the thing, trying to ignore all the burning questions that she might never get an answer to. Did I just see something in the background? No, okay. It's just a shadow I saw. Okay. Less spooky now. Why are there some hatch marks there? Home sweet home. There's a couch. At the very back of the room, Teddy finds what could be described as an apartment. A lousy one, certainly, but an apartment all the same. A makeshift mattress has been set up with an upturned box, acting as a bedside table, and a board with an old office chair has been placed into the corner as a dining table. The whole scene is kind of cozy in a weird way. I believe that's supposed to be a Z. If it wasn't for the smell, Teddy would even have liked the place. Teddy walks over to the bed, inspecting it. There's no dust on the covers, and there are some provisions stashed by the dining table. Someone lives here, and whoever it is can't have left long ago. W? This worries Teddy. The last thing she needs is some sort of complication with an angry survivor. Teddy looks longingly at the provisions. She's so damn hungry. Her mouth is watering and she has a hard time focusing on anything else. It takes a moment of hard concentration to get herself back on track. The person who lives here, what happened to them? The sun is out and the horrors are not here, so either the resident got caught out there or they are dead. Either way, Teddy will be gone by dusk, so this is not going to be her problem. She looks back at the food, tempted to steal something. Who would notice? I mean, honestly, we need food. Although I also have a feeling that if we do take something, there's going to be someone that shows up and we're going to be like, oh, we found this food, sorry. Let's take something. Teddy takes a can of baked beans from beneath the table. Whoever lives here wouldn't mind, she reasons. Teddy looks back over her shoulder. She's unsure of whether or not there's much else to see here. I could go to sleep. I think we already checked everything in the room, so let's go to sleep. Teddy yawns, but okay, so John is a word in Philly that we use. Unfortunately, I say it occasionally, mostly when I'm asking for a Neshaminy Creek John. It's a very yummy beer, but it's supposed to be yawn with a Y, and that's just made me laugh at that. It's bizarre to show up in this game. Maybe tomorrow will be better. She might be able to get away from this industrial area and into something nicer. She really wishes she had a bed or something. She gets her to sleeping in the bed in the stinky room, a name that she's given to the room with the red steel pillars, but that smell. It would take a lot of convincing her to go to sleep in there, even with the apartment at the ready. Teddy walks into the entrance hall, props herself up against the wall, and goes to sleep. Noon. The time is going by. Teddy bolts upright, suddenly wide awake. What was that? She never sleeps deeply anymore. That part of her life is over now. She's always alert, even in her sleep. She sits for a second, craning her neck, trying to figure out what woke her up, but nothing happens. Her eyes start to droop as she leans back against the wall once more when she hears it. It sounds like someone's walking outside, trying not to make a sound, the way a child might sound tiptoeing to their parents' bed at night. Teddy listens carefully. She knows that sound, but hopes that she's wrong in her suspicions. Yeah, check it out, dude. Don't mess with that kind of stuff. Teddy feels completely wired, awake like she's never been before. She looks outside where the sun is shining down mercilessly. If she spot it now, it would be the end of her. Teddy gets up, making sure to make as little noise as she can. She doesn't like this one bit, but there's nothing for it. She sneaks over to the door, her heart pounding in her throat, trying not to let her mind get the better of her. It's going to be fine, it's probably nothing. Teddy crosses the door, making sure she's out of sight of anyone looking in from the outside. She peers through the window and her heart sinks to her chest. At the corner of the building, just visible from her vantage points, she can see one of the horrors standing completely still. Teddy quickly ducks back down, out of sight. Not again. Not here. Teddy starts to hyperventilate. She can feel her breath against the mask, hot and moist. This is bad. This is really, really bad. Outside, Teddy can hear the horror starting to move. The horrors have an odd way of moving, like a snake ready to pounce. They will stand impossibly still for much too long, surveying their surrounding, and then suddenly move noiselessly from one spot to the next. That is, if they don't spot you. If they see you, If they see you, they give relentless pursuit, not stopping until they have you in their grasp. Teddy has seen people try and outrun them, but it's no use. They're both faster and stronger than us. It always ends the same way, bloody and lethal. The only respite is the night. Their behavior changes at night. They no longer move as they do during the day. They still react to sound and they still give chase, but at night they move as though wading through water. Each step deliberate but slow. You can outrun them at night. You can hide from them at night. You can get away at night. The night has become Teddy's solace here, her safe zone. She feels vulnerable here, in the daylight, scared out of her wits. She peers through the window again, hoping beyond hope that it has moved on. It hasn't. It is standing at the corner of the building, craning its neck, as if listening for something. Teddy stares at it. They truly are terrifying. The horrors look like they are put together haphazardly by an uncaring god. Limbs randomly stuck where they don't belong, and features distorted into wild caricatures of normalcy. Teddy starts to feel sick. This always happens when she tries to look at them for too long. There's something about them that remains unsettling, no matter how used to them you get. She slumps back down in the concrete, unwittingly jostling some broken glass at her feet. Fuck. Teddy goes cold. She can hear her heart beating against her chest so loud that it threatens to burst her chest wide open, and her palms have suddenly gone very clammy. She doesn't dare look aside, but she can hear the soft pitter-patter of the horror approaching the door. It stops, and Teddy can see the silhouette of the horror cast a shadow on the concrete in front of her. Teddy can hear its low, methodical breathing as it stands just above her, looking into the building. The sound reminds her of an engine winding down. Teddy feels her inside go completely liquid as the moments drag on, it standing just above her with murderous intent. She knows it won't eat her. They never do. They just seem content to end lives for no other reason than pleasure out of it. Teddy stares at the shadow etched into the floor in front of her, willing it to move. Suddenly, Teddy hears a crash off in the distance. The horror reacts immediately. Teddy sees the shadow turn sharply. It lets out a low hiss and bolts off into the distance. Teddy sits there for a second, frozen and terrified to her core. She doesn't dare move for fear that it will come back. Get up. Teddy chides herself for being so weak. She needs to get up. She needs to hide soon, before it comes back. Teddy doesn't seem to be able to. Get up now. She whispers to herself, barely audible, and starts to stretch her legs. She can do this, she tells herself. Teddy gets to her feet slowly and peers out the window. The horror is gone, having given chase to whatever made that noise earlier. Teddy can feel the sweat inside of her mask start to drip down her face. It feels cool and calming in a way. I need to hide. Oh, hi. We're taking control again. Alright. Let's try to find a place to hide. Can we hide in that locker room? Nope, we can't. Can we hide in the barrel? No, we can't. I guess we'll go through this door. Teddy looks at the door to the crowded room, which is still ajar from last night. This could be difficult, but if nothing else, then she'll be able to shut the door and lock the horror on the other side. Teddy takes a breath and walks inside. The place looks even worse than yesterday in the cold light of day. Technically, we didn't check out the room yesterday, but okay. There's dust and cobwebs covering every surface that Teddy can see, and not an iota of ground is not taken up by some useless piece of crap. I mean, honestly, it's a door, so probably the best place to sleep for us. Something to lock. And the other options are what? We'll check out the other ones, just in case. Teddy looks over her shoulder. This can't be the only opportunity she has. She steps aside, ready to look for something else. Teddy takes a breath. This is not going to be pleasant. However, she knows that it's the only place that the horror will not be able to follow. Still, she's dreading the smell, which, even out here in the hallway, is potent to say the least. Teddy takes a couple of deep breaths. There's a bed in there. Think about the bed. The attempt to calm herself down actually works somewhat. The prospect of somewhere comfortable to sleep is nice. Still, Teddy stalls for another minute before taking a deep breath and heading into the stinky room. No. Okay, so the thing is, if we go in the stinky room, though, and someone shows up, it's not good because then we're laying in their bed. So let's go to the other room, which I think would be a little better. Teddy looks over her shoulder. This can't be the only opportunity she has. Blah, blah, blah. We already read that one from here. Let's go ahead and sleep in here. All right, we'll just fast forward this one. We'll sleep in here. Teddy takes a deep breath and dissolves into a coughing fit. Cough, Dusty, cough. It takes her a moment to get herself together, and for a moment she looks at the door once more. Making up her mind, she turns back to the clutter. Okay, it's just for the rest of the day. Teddy climbs up on an old dishwasher, which is right in front of the open door. She reasons it's the only way that she's going to be able to get any sleep this day is if she somehow sleeps on top of the garbage. Finding a comfortable spot is harder than remaining silent. Finding a comfortable spot is harder, while remaining silent is harder than Teddy had anticipated. think that's supposed to be hard. Teddy has to save some weirdly placed piece of crap from falling to the ground more than once, making the whole endeavor more difficult than she wanted to be by far. Eventually, Teddy finds a somewhat comfortable spot in the back, propped up against a stack of old office chairs and an old shoe shine stand. I guess this will have to do. Second night. An ache in her hips wakes Teddy up. Her legs have fallen asleep from the uncomfortable position, and her back aches. She should have been okay with sleeping in uncomfortable places by now, since she has been on the road for a while now, but for whatever reason, she never got completely what? Okay. Teddy straightens herself, trying to rub the sleepiness out of her eyes to no effect. She knows that she'll have to move on tonight, but she stays put for a moment, staring into nothingness. She's having a hard time getting herself together enough to move on. Some evenings are hard like that. When the weight of everything seems too heavy to carry, and just standing up feels like a Herculean task, Teddy tries hard not to spiral, not to think about all the people she'll never see again, all the places she can't go back to, all the things she has lost. The moment threatens to bury her alive, if she lets it. Standing there, staring at the door, everything suddenly feels too overwhelming to deal with. You need to leave. I like how we have regressed a bit, but okay. She tells herself this over and over again, trying to will her legs into submission, but nothing happens. You need to leave. Her tone is harder now, more firm, but nothing's happening. The grief and sadness have a hold of her now. It seems there's nothing she can do. She stares at the door in front of her, trying to make her mind go blank. This is her final defense when the malaise takes over. Teddy prefers to nothingness, to sadness. The nothing helps her stay alive. The flash came so fast that Teddy was unsure if she saw it at all. If it wasn't for the afterglow etched into her retina, she wouldn't believe that she saw anything at all. Teddy shakes her head and refocuses on the door. Whatever that was, it brought her away from herself. She stands up a bit more straight, trying to hone in on what she just saw, but whatever it was, it's gone now. Teddy shakes her head again, clearing it of cobwebs. She's been standing here for long enough. This can't go on. She picks up her bag, which is feeling remarkably light. She must be running low on supplies. There's a flash again. She's just about to move when it happens again. The light is back. It is only there for a second, but that is long enough for Teddy to know that she did not make it up. The light is really there. Teddy takes a couple of steps closer to the door. Whoever's making that happen out there, whoever's making that happen is out there somewhere, but she can barely see in the darkness. Teddy ducks down and crawls the rest of the way over to the door. Making sure to be as quiet as she can, she squats by the door so that her body is just below the window. You wouldn't be able to see her if you were looking in from the outside. She peers out and her heart sinks. The horror is standing in the middle of the street just beyond the door. It's just standing in the dark, staring at the building, its large, unseeing eyes barely visible in the darkness. It seems to Teddy that it is staring right at her, but she knows better. They can't see in the dark. They can only wait for the light to reappear. The flashes confuse Teddy, because clearly this didn't come from it. So where did they come from? Had they figured out how to conjure light where there is none? That could mean true death. Teddy is again starting to spiral once more when she sees the light again, coming from somewhere beyond the horror. It shines like a beacon in the blackness, and it's gone almost as soon as it appeared. It takes Teddy a second to get used to the darkness again, but when she does, she notices there is a shape just beyond the horror. It looks smaller than normal, but clearly there, contrasted against the black night. The person once again flashes a light, and this time the horror seems to take notice. It starts turning slowly in the direction of the visitor. Teddy freezes. She doesn't know this person, but she feels compelled to help. Still, the visitor could be dangerous, and it is a high risk to take. If the horror notices Teddy, then she is definitely dead. Teddy stalls, and all the while the horror starts to move slowly towards the visitor. To be continued. Huh. That is it right now. Oh, right, duh. It's called The Magnet First Night, of course. Why would we go too far into the second night? I like this a lot. It's very open-ended. Like, they don't actually show you the horror, which I really hope they don't show you the horror the entire game, but I'm okay with it if the creators like, hey, we're going to actually finally scope it out over time. Like, you start to see, like, maybe a limb, and then eventually you see the full monster. But, I mean, in my head, I'm envisioning something like Junji Ito style, like some long, grotesque limbs. I literally just read Gyo a little bit ago, so that's probably why I'm picturing that. But also, like, the stretched out monsters from... I don't want to go into spoiler territory, but yeah, I really, really like this. I think that it's cute in its own way. The character design for Teddy is adorable. I like the mask. It's really freaking cute. It also is going to be total thumbnail. But I also like the change to third-person view when it comes to exploring the area. I think that's pretty sweet. I don't know. I could see this, like, if it stretches out to like 5 full parts, I would really, really enjoy this. And I'm actually interested in seeing where it goes. So if you guys all enjoy this video, let me know in the comments down below. There are other choices as well. So I'm guessing maybe it can play out differently, or maybe we just got lucky and didn't die. Because maybe I thought rationally about everything, but I don't know. I feel like maybe other decisions might have allowed us to either see other story parts or may have just killed us. So I think that's pretty cool. But if you enjoyed it, let me know in the comments down below. Leave a thumbs up. I really do appreciate that. And make sure you're subscribed so you get updates on this new content or go live while live streaming. And as always, have a great day. Remember to burn bright. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye. La